Tom Aspinall defeated Marcin Tybura via TKO in the first round yesterday at UFC London. After the fight, Aspinall called out Jon Jones, to which Jon responded via Twitter.
I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Paris. I'm going to be sat front row for Cyril Gane against Sergey Spivak. I'm going to beat the winner, and then I'm going to beat Jon Jones.
Jon responded saying, "Sounds good. LOL." Here was Tom's reaction to seeing that Jon responded to him.
He knows they exist. We'll win him. He knows they exist. That's good. That's progress. That's progress. I'll see him soon.
What did you make of Jones responding to your call out so quick as well?
Jon Jones knows I exist. Woohoo! That's a win in itself. I'm buzzing with that. Like, what I want to do, I've been saying it all week, is I want to win my fights going forward, of course, but also another goal of mine is, like, I want to motivate Jon Jones to stick around and fight me. Like, that is my absolute dream, mate. Like, the thought of that. Mate, you're from Atherton. I'm from Atherton.
Atherton
A guy from Atherton fighting Jon Jones, mate.
Wild.
Oh, my goodness me, that would be incredible.
George St-Pierre joined Michael Bisping this week on the Believe You Me podcast. Here's the clip where they discuss whether or not they get the itch to return to fighting.
People always ask me, and I'm sure you get this question all the time, do you miss it? Do you ever think about making a comeback? And I can honestly say, no, I don't think about coming back. You know, I've been there, I've done it. I became the champ, I made some money, and I've opened doors to other things. But commentating still allows me to be involved with the sport. I know you're completely done, but do people ask you that a lot? Do people say, George, when are you coming back? When are you coming back?
There's a lot of guys that want me to come back because they know I'm still in shape. I think if I really wanted to, I could maybe come back, but my heart is not there anymore. I'm not the same guy that I was when we fought each other. You know, like when I was competing, it was my number one priority. I want to, I wanted to kill everyone. I had fire.
You almost did kill
fire. Yeah. I mean, I always try to be nice, but deep down inside, you got the same thing inside.
Yeah, I know.
So when you lose that, I think it's hard to get it back, and it's possible that you get it back, but to be successful, I think it's important to have that fire. A lot of guys, they stay in the sport too long and they lost that fire.
That's right.
That thing that, like that animal instinct, that thing that makes you a great fighter. And I think very often, it's sad to say, but the fighter itself is the last person to know when it's time to stop,
It's so true.
Robert Whittaker on the MM Arcade podcast reveals why the loss to Dricus Du Plessis stings a bit more than usual. Rob says that he wants to return to the octagon as soon as possible, so he doesn't have to feel this way.
Spending, what was it since last fight? 10 months, 11 months between fights, putting all that work in, and then to get to center stage and not do any of it was like really disappointing for me. Like really disappointing for me.
Right.
Because you see, like in that second fight with Izzy, I lost, but at least I did what I trained for. So this fight, I did nothing, and I let down my coaches, and I know they don't feel that way, but I do. I let down my coaches, I let down my fans and friends, but I don't know, this feeling, I am using this feeling as energy. I am using this feeling as a drive, because I don't want to feel like this again, mate. This isn't how I want to finish my career. This isn't the feeling I want to experience again. And the only way not to feel like this is to get back into the gym, train like a savage, and get back into the octagon sooner rather than later. Through no fault of my own, the fights have been further apart than I would like, but I aim to change that. So I guess, that's a lot of how I've been feeling and kind of my thought processes from the last fight. On that thought train, I do want to fight again this year. Not going to be ready for September in Sydney, unfortunately. I think a lot of people knew that when I took the L, regardless. But I do want to get there in November. November is the date, the month that I want to get in there and finish the year strong. So that's That's where I'm at the moment in my career.
Yesterday at UFC London, Molly McCann was defeated by Yulia Stoliarenko via armbar in the first round. The MMA community has been ruthless on social media towards Molly since. Yulia had won 1 out of her last 5 fights leading into the fight last night, and MMA fans are calling out the UFC for trying to get Molly an easy win in London. First, to read some reactions from the pros. Terrence McKinney tweeted, "Yo, she big. Looked like a completely different weight class." Billy Quarantillo says nasty armbar. Hanato Moicano says next one to get submit is Patty the Fatty. And Diana Belbita says what a surprise. And now to the Instagram comments. This is where it gets rough. ESPN MMA posted this photo. To read off the top comments, they fed her a can and she still lost. Meatball Molly is finished. Lost to someone who was 10-8. Molly is a true can. They tried putting her up against someone with a shitty record, and she just got her arm broken in the first round. What a ride home after that. Who else is happy to see Molly lose? LMAO again. Hype train is over. Fighter removed, Molly McCann. Fighter removed, Patty Pimblett. Molly is f***ing one-dimensional. It's insane she had hype to begin with. Moving on to another post, the UFC posted this to their official Instagram. Reading off the top comments, McCann is overrated button. They tried to keep the hype train alive and she still lost. Can we be done with the meatball hype now? I used to pray for days like this. I'm so glad McCann lost. The can crusher gets crushed. What an awesome victory. When Molly loses, we all win. Announcers meat riding Molly like usual. Didn't even show emotion for that great finish. Glad she got humbled again. Why was this the co-main? And McCann and Pimblett are UFC unworthy. Molly has not put out any statements since the loss. However, this is what she posted on Instagram before the fight. And as you can see, it's also completely filled with hate comments. Hype train stops here. I'll give you credit. It's not every day you get to break your arm and be embarrassed live in front of your home country. Couldn't beat an opponent that was 1-4 in the UFC. You literally rolled into an armbar by someone who was 1-4 in the UFC. Big Daddy Dana tried to hand you a free win versus a 1-5 opponent and you still lost and got tapped out. You suck. A gif of somebody putting on clown makeup and too much mouth and not have the enough skills. Say bye-bye to UFC. So what do you guys think about all the flack Molly and Patty are getting nowadays on social media? Do you think that either of them could redeem themselves with MMA fans? And if so, how? Post your opinions down in the comments. Going to be reading them for sure. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post future ones. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. These comments are in reference to the controversial 1-second knockout at Titan FC. If you haven't seen yesterday's video, be sure to go check it out. The first one's from AK625. It says, "Come on, that's so disrespectful. I know the fighters have to protect themselves all the time, but that's a cheap move," referring to the fake glove touch followed by the head kick. The second one's from Leave Me Be. It says that knockout was longer than Dylan Dennis' career. And the final one's in reference to Hanato Moicano advising Charles Oliveira to not fight Islam in Abu Dhabi because he thinks the UFC is trying to set Charles up. It's from Hot Rod Brazil. It says Moicano was 100% right about the Charles and UFC situation. Dana making the Oil Kings happy. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured on the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. If you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen to get caught up. And make sure to go subscribe to our second channel where we post our exclusive MMA interviews.